So in this video, we are going to discuss about inheritance in Java. So let's start with what is inheritance. So inheritance is similar to class, but the fields are public and static. The methods are public and abstract. Inheritance is a full and fully an abstraction, but the methods are not fully defined. There is no concrete methods in the interface. So in the interface, there is no possibility of variable initializations and creation of object is not possible here. So in interface, it is a contract to a class or number of classes, and the particular class is agree to assign the contract. So that is what a interface. So an interface can extend to another interface similar to class. A class can implement an interface. So now we move on to the syntax of interface. So here it is similar way of declaring a class. So normally we used to declare a class and class name. Similarly in interface followed by interface name, and the particular interface may have some constant fields and methods and abstracts and by default. So this is how a interface can be implemented. So interface can be implemented using the class. So here we have a class name. This class name going to implement this interface. So now let's see how interface being identified by the interpreter in Java. So here I have a interface interface underscore demo. It consists of a variable a. It holds a value of 10, and I have a method called display. If I declare int a, by default the interpreter will identify public static final int a. Similarly, if I declared a method void display, so that also identified public abstract void display. So whatever we give in the interface, so that should be public as far as interpreter concerned, right? Now let us consider this example, interface cricket. So it has two methods. So one is the batsman and other one is the bowler. So in these two methods, so there is no description about the batsman and bowler over here, because these two methods are only abstraction. So the implementation part is available in the class. So we have a class, the class name is interface underscore game. So this interface underscore game is going to implement this cricket, because there is no description about these two methods. So in this class, so we have a description for these two methods. So first we are invoking this void batsman, and it has a printf statement. And similarly we have a method bowler. So we have a description about what is bowler method. So this is how we are going to implement interface concept in class. So now we come to the program main. So class name, so object name, new class. So here we are going to invoke the only batsman method. So we require an object. So with the help of this object, we are going to invoke this batsman method. Let's see the output. So here our class name is interface underscore game. So this is actual program which we have. So I'm going to run this program. just copy the class name Java C, file name .java, sorry, file name Java C, file name .java, so followed by Java file name. Suppose if you want to invoke another method, you can make use of the same object and simply you can change the method name, that is bowler. Just saving the program. So once again I go for compilation. See, now the both the methods we have over here, right? So this is an example of example implementation of interface. So now we move on to the next example. So this is another example. This is slightly different from the previous one. In the previous one we have only the methods, but here we have the variables also. So here I have a variable that is percentage. It holds a value of 60. Okay, I'm just calling this value only. I'm not using this function. I'm just calling the value only here. So here my method name is student underscore name. So even though if I declare void student underscore name, by default the interpreter itself identifies it's a public and abstract, because there is no description over here. The description available in the class, so method, and we have variable over here in the interface. So here we have a class name is test underscore marks. So this test underscore marks is going to implement the student underscore interface. Okay, right. So we have a implementation for the student underscore name. So this student underscore name method will going to print system.out.println of Rajesh Kumar, right? So now we come to the main program. So we have a description for this student underscore name, and also we have a value of 60. So I'm just calling the 60 over here. I'm just creating an object for my class test underscore marks, an object of new class. So here object name dot class name, so it will print the Rajesh Kumar. If I call this percentage, it will show 60. Now let's see the output. So this is our program which we have. Now let's see. I'm just copy the class file. So clear the screen is CLS Java C. So file name is testmark underscore Java. Now I am running the program. So this is the output. So name Rajesh Kumar and marks is 60. So now we move on to our next example. Here we have given some of the pictorial representation of interface. So the interface can be implemented in different methods. Let's see one by one. So here we have two interfaces A and B. So we can have a possibility of B can extend the interface A. Similarly, here we have a class as well as an interface. So the class B can implement A. So here B can extend A. B can only extend the A, but here the implementation aspect can be considered in class only. So class can have a possibility of implement an interface, right? So this is another example. Here we have a multi-level of interface. We have A, B and C. These are the three different interfaces and three different levels. So these three can be extended with the help of this extend keyword. Okay, right. So this is another method. This is similar to multiple interface. Here we have an interface A and interface B, and these together can implemented with the help of implement key. So here class is C, this class C is going to implement the interface A as well as interface B like this. So this is the ultimate solution to address the multiple inheritance. So in C there is no possibility of multiple inheritance, but in the case of interface we can have the possibility of multiple inheritance. So this is another example. In this example, interface A and B implemented to C, but here we have two interfaces. These two interfaces also can be implemented. Here C is also an interface, but here C is a class. So here the interface C implement A as well as B in a single statement, right? So now let's start with this implementation. So the first pictorial representation which we saw, so interface A and class B. This class B going to implement this interface A. This is the general structure. So interface name, some methods in the interface. So this interface going to implement. So the public class B is a class name. This class B going to implement this interface A. Okay. In general, there is no description or definition in the interface. It's only a abstract. So this abstract can be implemented in the class. Okay. So this is an example of interface with class, right? So we have a interface name called student1. Okay. This student1 interface having a student name as well as marks. So student name is a method here. There is no definition. It's only a method. So description point will be available in the class. So this method going to print the name of a person. Okay. Now let's move on to the class. So class name is test underscore class. So this test underscore class going to implementation of this student1 interface. So this class test will going to implement the student1 interface, right? So now we come to the main program. So we are creating an object for call this class. So class object new class, right? So we are going to invoke the method with the help of this object dot student name, which is available in the class method, right? Which is available in the class test method. Okay. So now we are going to print the marks. So marks is a variable which is available in the interface. So this interface can be implemented to the class underscore test class so that we can access the marks. Now let's see output of this program. Now let's move on to the coding. So this is a program which we have. Okay. So our class name is class underscore test. Okay. Let's see how this code being executed. Java C. So file name .java for compiling the program. Java file name. See. Let's see. This is the output of this program. Let's see. So the marks and the name both are combined together, and finally we will get the output. Okay. So this is one method of implementing an interface using a class. Now let's see another example. So this is another example. So here we have used two interfaces. The previous example which we saw only one interface, but here so we have two interfaces. Let's see. Here we have interface 1 which is student and interface 2 which is subject. Here the subject is going to extend the interface of student 1. So the subject will have the property of subject property as well as student 1 property. Okay. So now we move on to the main class. Here the class name is class underscore test underscore sub. It's a class name. This is going to implement the interface subject. Already the subject having the subject method as well as student method. Okay. Now let's see. Here we have created a one output statement for this void student underscore name, and similarly we have created a one more output for the subject. Here the subject is void subject underscore name, and finally marks. So now we come to the main program. The main program class underscore test underscore sub. So we are creating a first object to access the student name which is available here, Shiva, and subject name which is available here. So the methods are available for these two output statement. The messages, these two messages, the main method which is available in the interface. So student name is available in the student interface, and subject method which is available in the subject interface. So these two methods, the object underscore student name and object dot subject name, which is available in the just available in the student interface as well as subject interface. Okay, now let's see how the output will be. So this is the general structure of interface. Here we have interface 1 and interface 2 implement the interface 1. So let's see the output. Our class name is class underscore test underscore sub. Let's take out this Java C. File name.java. Okay, that's it. I'm going to show you in a better way. That's it. So now we move on to the next example. So this is another example and another way of implementing interface in a multi-level concept. So here this is here we have interface A, an interface B, and interface C, and the C interface is going to extend A and B so that the C carries all the properties of A as well as B. Okay, and the implementation is going to done in a class. So this is the message. This is we have a and B extends A and C extends B, and D is the class name which going to implement the C. Okay, so that C having all the properties of A and B. Now this is an example which we have here. We have a interface 1 is name, which having the method called student underscore name, and we have a interface 2 is called subject. It's going to extend the name, and it has a method that is void subject underscore name, and third interface which you have is marks, so which is going to extend subject. Okay, here we have a integer marks carries a 60. So now we come to the main class. So this is the class name. This class is going to implement the marks interface, because this marks interface carries interface A as well as B methods. So if you call the marks method, you can access the rest of the methods also, right? So now we come to the implementation part. So first we have a student underscore name, so we are giving a message for that, and second one is subject underscore name. Here we are assigning a subject name and marks as well. Now we come to the main program. So this is our main program. We are creating an object to access the class. So first object is for displaying the student name, and second object is for subject name, and third one is marks. Let's see the output of this program. So our class name is class underscore test underscore sub underscore marks. Let's see, let's get the clean. Sub underscore marks. The same output but in a different manner. The same output, the name of the person, subject of the subject, and marks. So now we move on to the next example. So this is another way of implementing an interface concept. So in this example we have two different interfaces. These two interfaces can be inherited to C. This is similar to multiple inheritance in Java. So it's look like here two different parent properties can be inherited to one child. So this is the one child. We have two different. It's like a abstraction. How a multiple interface supposed to be, right? So here the class is C. This class going C is going to implement A as well as B, right? So this is the general structure of A. It's interface, B is interface. Here public class. This class going to implement B as well as A, right? Now we come to the program. So interface name, it has a method called student name, and interface subject, it has a subject name as well as marks. So now we come to the class. So this is our class name. So it has a output statement for the name method as well as subject method. Also it carries some marks. So now we come to the object invocation. So this is our class object which is going to invoke this class, right? So object dot student underscore name, object dot student subject underscore name, and system dot outer println for printing the marks. Let's see how this work. Let's copy the class file, java c, mul.java. So the same output, same result, but the method is different. Same person name. Let's clear do it in a different way, better way. See the same output, see the same out, but in a different method. The same program we are going to implement in another way. Let's see. This is another way. If in previous one, interface A and B are the interface, C is the class. But here A and B, C also were interface. So this is the difference between the previous one and this one. Here we have three interfaces. In previous one we have only two interfaces in one class. So here we have three different interfaces. Now let's see the implementation. So here we have a name is the one interface, mark is in another face. These two interfaces can be extended to subjects. Subject also a one of interface. The subject carries the name as well as marks. Okay. Now we come to the main program. This is our class name. Okay. This class going to implement the subject because subject carries the name as well as marks. If you implement the subject, you can access the marks as well as name. Right. Okay. So we have a first method is student underscore name. So we have a student name, and second method is subject underscore name. We have a subject name, and we come to the main program. So our main program is class object followed by a new class name. So we are creating a first object for student name as well as subject name and marks. Now let's see how this program will work. I just copy the name of the class, java c, yeah, the same program, same output, but we have followed a different ways. So all the three methods are same, all the three outputs are same, but the methodology which we followed is completely different. So I hope this video is more useful for you. If you have any queries, please do comment in the comment section. So I will meet you in another video. Thank you.